Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's stand up and greet each other. Good morning. God bless you. God loves you. I love you. All great. You may be seated. Now we are continuing our rediscovery of women in the Old Testament. Last week, we studied Eve as the first woman in creation. Yesterday, we figured out how Eve was created as a companion suitable for Adam. God helped Adam to realize that he needed a companion by naming animals in the Garden of Eden. Then God took a big surgery of Adam to create Eve by taking a rib from him. When the first woman, Eve, was brought in front of Adam was so happy to confess that she was the bone of his bones and flesh of his fleshes. They became one as a couple. They could share so many common things, including their strengths and weaknesses with no shame. They were supposed to live happily ever after. However, in Genesis chapter 3, unfortunately, the human fall has come into this world through the temptation, through the devil, in the shade and likeness of the serpent. Some of the elementary students, Yale and Oxford classes, learned several words in the Bible class, right? Among them, the fall. Can you show the fall? Okay, do you remember this? Right? The fall, right? Yes? Right? Let me see. Do you remember it? The fall? Right? Okay, the fall. They lived a happy life in a perfect place. However, the fall began to start in Genesis chapter 3. Repeat after me. Genesis chapter 3. The fall. Let's read Genesis chapter 3 from verse 1 to 7 together. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say, you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the tree in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die. You will not surely die." The serpent said to the woman, "For God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, and who was with her, and he ate it. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made a company for themselves. Wow, what a story. As we have just read this passage, there was a tempter. The serpent was more cunning than any of the wild animals among all God's creation. Here we can tell that the devil reported to Eve by asking question. Did God really say, you must not eat from any tree in the garden? We just read that Eve responded to the serpent. We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die. Now, as we saw it, what Eve said was different from what God said to Adam, right? Do you remember it? Let's review in Genesis chapter 2, from verse 16 to 17. Let's read it together. And the Lord God commanded them, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat of it, you will surely die. See? Can you see the difference? Eve explained a little bit different from what God originally said to Adam. Even God did not even say about touching. And also, God said to Adam, when you eat from it, you will surely die. Right? Surely die. Now, we can tell how the serpent was tempting Eve by twisting the word. Let's become an analysis of the Bible. Let's become analysis of the Bible. Okay, repeat it. Analysis. You are the analysis of the Bible. It is important to how the serpent was tempting by twisting the word. Let's check it out. God said, when you eat from it, you will surely, certainly die. But Eve said, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die. Then let's read verse 4 to 5, how the serpent was twisting the word. You will not certainly or surely die. The serpent said to the woman, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. I wish she could get the clear direction from God in person. From the text, we don't know whether she received God's command not to eat the fruit of good and evil directly from God or through Adam. We don't know, right? In the text. At least we can tell, we know she did not have a right understanding about God's command because she mentioned not eating it as well as not touching it, not to die because of these actions, eating and touching. These are not the words God said. The serpent was cunning enough to know that she did not have a clear understanding of God's command. Then the serpent tempted her more by saying, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Eve was deceived by the serpent. It seems that the serpent had the art of languages in order to twist the meanings of God's command. What happened to Eve really? Let's look at verse 6 together. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desiring for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Yummy. So yummy. The fruit looked so good, for good and pleasing to her eyes. She thought she would gain wisdom through it. Then she took some and ate it. Oh no! She did It is so surprising to find that when she made an action to took and ate the food, and Adam was with her, and did neither resist it nor corrected her misunderstanding and even her mistakes. It was not only Eve's fault not to follow God's command, but also Adam's fault. He was not far away with her. At the moment she took and ate the fruit, he was with her. He was supposed to help, not to fall into temptation, but he did not. He did not do it. What happened to them? As a result of falling into temptation, they began to feel shame. Do you remember they felt no shame when they were both naked, shown in Genesis chapter 2, verse 25? Here in verse 7, then the eyes, 27, verse 7, chapter 3, verse 7. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. They sewed fig trees together and made coverings for themselves. Can you show the pictures? This was the sin of Adam and Eve, right? And the fall of the human race. We could see that Adam and Eve both disobeyed God in their own ways, right? They felt shameful of their own nakedness and made coverings for themselves made by fig leaves. It seems that the feeling of shame is related to our commitment of our sins. According to a famous theologian, Charles Spurgeon, their heart must have been sorely perplexed within them while they were waiting to see what God would do to them as a punishment for the great sin they had committed. They began to be afraid of God's punishment, and they were shameful because they disobeyed to God. Well, today's story is very tough. It is the story of human fall through Adam and Eve, the first human beings created by the image of God. They were tempted and committed sin by disobeying the very God's words not to eat the fruit of the tree of evil and good. As a human being, we can fall into temptation because of our arrogance or our pride. The devil knows so well when and how to tempt us to fall into a sin. Sometimes, when we think we are in the highest place and feel so good, that moment could be the time of falling. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. So if you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall, or you don't fail. That's why we need to pray without ceasing. As a human being, it is natural to experience temptation sometimes. Even Jesus was tempted by devils. Jesus taught us how to pray through those prayers. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil. Shall we read the Lord's Prayer in English together? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. from the kingdom, for the kingdom, the power, and the glory endures now and forever. Amen. 오늘은 창세기 3장 1절에서 7절에 나와 있는 인간의 타락이 뱀의 형태인 사탄을 통해서 어떻게 일어나게 되었는지를 살펴보았습니다. 어제 창세기 2장 마지막 부분에 아담의 돕는 뱀들로 이브가 창조되어 아담에게 이브되었고 둘은 결혼하여 에덴 동산에서 행복한 삶을 영원히 살 수가 있었습니다. 그리고 그들은 벗었지만 연합하여 수치감, 즉 부끄러움을 느끼지 않고 잘 살고 있었습니다. 그런데 3장 1절에 영악한 사탄이 뱀의 형태로 여자 곧 하와에게 하나님께서 내린 명령에 대해서 물어봅니다. 하나님이 참으로 너희에게 동산 모든 나무의 열매를 먹지 말라 하시더냐? 여호와는 하와는 이를 어떻게 대답했나요? 3장 2절을 한번 보면은 동산나무의 열매를 우리가 먹을 수 있으나 동산 중앙에 있는 나무의 열매는 하나님의 말씀에 너희는 먹지도 말고 만지지도 말라 너희가 죽을까 하노라 하셨느니라고 대답하였습니다. 좀 이상하지 않습니까? 얼핏 보기에는 하와가 하나님의 명령에 대해서 잘 설명하고 있는 것 같습니다. 그렇지만 틀렸습니다. 창세기 2장 16절에 17절에 여호와 하나님이 그 사람에게 명하여 이르시되 동산 각종 나무의 열매 내가 이물어 놓게 선악을 알게 하는 나무의 열매는 먹지 말라. 내가 먹는 날에는 반드시 죽으리라 하셨습니다. 여기서 하나님께서 분명하고 명명하게 선악과를 먹지 말고 먹으면 반드시 죽는다고 하였습니다. 그런데 하와는 먹지도 말고 만지지도 말고 너희가 죽을까 하노라 하고 애매모호하게 이런 여지를 남겨놓았고 이걸 통해서 영악한 사탄은 그것을 놓치지 않고 하와를 계속해서 혼란스럽게 해서 유혹을 하게 됩니다. 4절에서 너희가 결코 죽지 아니하리라고 하는 하나님의 명령이 아닌 말을 하게 됩니다. 그리고 언어의 마술사처럼 그들을 말로써 유혹합니다. 5절에 너희가 그것을 먹는 날에는 너희 눈이 밝아져 하나님과 같이 되어 선악을 알 줄을 하나님이 아시리라고 하와를 완전히 유혹하게 됩니다. 안타깝게도 하와는 그 나무를 보니 먹으기도 하고 보아기도 하고 지혜롭게 할 만큼 탐스러워서 그 열매를 따먹고 자기와 함께 있던 남편에게 주매 그도 먹었습니다. 여러분, 아담도 분명히 그때 함께 있었는데 왜 하와가 잘못 알고 있다고 말해주지 않았을까요? 오히려 그는 함께 그 선악과를 먹었습니다. 이렇게 인간의 타락은 아담과 하와의 둘 다의 잘못과 죄로 인해서 시작이 되었습니다. 그들이 선악과를 먹었기 때문에 그들의 눈이 밝아져서 그 전에 보이지 않던 자신들이 먹고 있다는 사실을 알게 되고 부끄러움, 즉 수치감이 찾아와서 무화과 나무에 불을 엮어서 자신들의 수치를 가리고자 하였습니다. 창세기 2장 25절에 그들이 하나님의 온전한 눈치와 그들 자신들과 서로가 연합했을 때는 벗어도 부끄럽지 않은 상태였지만 이렇게 하나님의 말씀을 어기고 죄를 범하게 되면서 결국 하나님과의 관계, 그들의 연합의 관계가 깨어지면서 부끄러움과 수치가 찾아오게 되었습니다. 우리는 인간이라 유혹에 빠지고 잘못을 하고 죄를 범할 수 있을 것을 압니다. 그때 주변에 함께 기도하는 동역자들, 친구들이 하나님 편에 서서 직언을 할 수 있어야 하는데 사실 아담처럼 회피하거나 방종하거나 동조해버리는 경우가 많이 있습니다. 고린도전서 10장 12절에 선출로 생각하는 자는 넘어질까 조심하라 하였습니다. 그리고 우리도 유혹에 넘어질 수 있는 존재이기 때문에 우리에게 데살로니가전서 5장 17절에 쉬지 말고 기도하라고 예수님께서 말씀하십니다. 사도바울도 말하였습니다. 그리고 예수님께서 우리가 유혹에 빠질 수 있다는 것을 잘 알고 계셨습니다. 예수님 자신도 사탄의 유혹을 받으셨고 이기셨으며 또한 우리에게 이길 수 있도록 주기도문에 사단의 시험에 들게 하지 마시고 다만 악에서 구하옵소서라고 가르쳐 주셨습니다. 오늘 우리가 사탄의 유혹, 시험, 죄에 빠지지 않고 성령 안에서 쉬지 말고 기도하면서 승리하는 하루가 되기를 축원합니다. Dear God, help us not to fall into temptation, but deliver us from evil one today. Help us to pray without ceasing by the Holy Spirit and to have a victory over our situations.